Again, let's continue our discussion of parse here. So in the last example, I created a simple example that, it just creates a new record in the parse table. So there, I've actually created a copy of this one. If I refresh it, you'll see another copy of this, right? So what's going on here, and how can we do something useful with this? Well, first of all, if you're just working in Parse here and you're logged in and you're in Core here, what you'll see is you'll see all of the tables that you've created on the left side. And it tells you how many records are in each table. Okay? The tables here you can manipulate. So, if you want to rearrange these, like I don't like this foo field, so I'm going to just drag it over here so it's kind of out of my way. If you want, you can even delete a field. So or a column. So I'm actually going to go here and say delete column. Right? I want to remove this foo column. Doesn't make any sense for me. So I'll choose delete column, and then I'll choose the name of the column as foo, and I'll drop that column, and now it's gone. And now you can see I've got these products here maybe, and the name of this product is the same as the second one here. So maybe I want to edit. So to edit that, I can double click, and I'll change this to nuts and bolts, right? And maybe I want to edit the price too, so I'll double click and I'll make these are 76. Yeah, maybe $776, right? And there you go. So I just, hit return when I'm done and it edits. Let's do another one. So maybe I want to add a new field here. Well, you can just click in the empty field and start typing. So I'll say ephemera, right? And that's probably worth like $32. And then maybe on this one I'll give this a value too. I'll say Yahtzee. Wait, let's see if I can spell that right. Is that how you spell Yahtzee? I can't remember. Anyway, so there you go. We'll put that in there, and that's probably worth $11, right? So that's pretty easy. You can just go in here, double click, edit, hit return, you're done. And if you want to create a new record, you can hit the plus button here and it'll add a new row, and then you can fill it in the same way. Now this object ID field is a special field, and you shouldn't edit this one, okay? Every record in the table has a unique ID for a record, and since this one is empty, it doesn't have one. But as soon as I fill in one of these, one of these other fields here, Parse will give this a unique ID, and every record has to have a unique ID. Okay, so no other record will have this identifier, and it looks a little strange. It's a bunch of letters and numbers, and it looks kind of random, but don't worry about it. Parse figures out what it is, and it'll know that these are unique every time. Okay, so let's add a new property here, toothbrush, and it's probably worth $45, right? Someone's probably paid $45 for a toothbrush. I don't know who, but I'm sure it's happened. Okay, and then you can see here that it gives you the date that this record was created and the date that it was updated. Okay, you can see like some of these were created at at one time, and then they were updated a little bit later. So the object ID field, the created at and updated at, and this other one ACL over here, those fields are default and they come with every table. These other fields, name and price, are custom fields that I've created and added to the table, and you can add as many fields as you like. Okay, so if you want to add another one, you can say plus column, and you could say, well, maybe all these things need a description or something, so I'll say description, right? And then you can select what type of information you're going to store in that field. And this is what Parse gives you. It gives you a string, a number, a Boolean. So a string is any bunch of characters, so text, essentially. A number is, a number, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 368, A Boolean can be either true or false. A date is a date, so, it'll include the, year, month, day, and time. A file can be any file that you upload. Parse has a limit of 10 megabyte files that you can upload, but you can upload images and audio, and people have made some very interesting Parse projects by uploading audio, right? So you can pretty much just upload anything here, right? So, and Parse keeps track of the files, right? Geopoint, so if your app is going to use, geolocation or something, or you have a mapping app, you could store locations in the app. The array is a list of values. So if you have, like, imagine, I have this app here, really I want to do description as a string, right? So I'll save that one. But imagine, and it kind of, I don't see it at first, but it's way off here, right? So if you want to move it, you can drag it, right? So I'll drag this guy over. But let me do another column, right? But if I wanted to have, let's say, more than one value stored in one of these fields. So imagine like I have a store, and I've got name, price, and description, but I also want to have sizes. Like maybe I'm selling shoes, and then I want to list all the sizes, like 9, 9.5, 10, 11, right? And some shoes that are in stock may have, only a few sizes left, right? Well, I could make a list of the sizes that are available for a particular product and put them all in an array. Object, I think, is a JavaScript object. I haven't actually used that one, so I'm guessing it's a JavaScript object similar to an array. Pointer, this is a reference to the ID of another object in another table. And using this, you can create relationships between objects, okay? And then a relationship is the same thing. It's like a relationship between tables. I haven't actually used this one either, so I usually use the pointer. But anyway, so you have these values here, and you can they can store different types of information. So when you create a field, you essentially set the value type, and you'll see it here at the top of the column. If you're in the code, and we go back to the code that we were using a moment ago, which now I seem to have lost. Let's open this up again with, I kind of like this editor brackets here, so I'm going to use that again. So here we are at the default code that we were using, right? And when I look at the default code here, you can see we added a field called name, but the value here is a string. So Parse infers that, when we create this field, this value should be typed string. And over here you can see I set price to a number. And so Parse inferred that that field should hold a number. So if I try to set a value for price now and create a new record where I set the value here to a string by wrapping it in quotes, then I'll get an error, okay? So once you've set the type for a field, you have to continue with that type, okay? And one field, if you've set a type for it like number or string, then that field should always, like all the values for every record will always hold the same type, okay? So there's a little bit more about how Parse works, right?